So hello, and today I want to go over one simple ball tip, but this is most relevant when you're playing ball on either defense or trying to initially take a point using ball. So right here, Fate is playing in a ball's end comp. Like Fearless is also playing ball, but this was just like kind of a six-man variant, which we won't focus on too much here. We're gonna focus more on playing ball in these Zen Zen comps or poke comps in general. So hello, and today I want to go over just one simple ball tip, but this will especially be relevant if you're playing ball on defense or playing ball against like rush comps. So like comps with Lucio. And in this case, Dallas are running a Reaper, Sombra, Moira, Lucio comp. Usually you would see Winston, but in this case they're running ball. But this is essentially a six-man variant. And Fate is playing with the Zen. And basically playing the Ball Tracer Sombra comp. So, right here, what does Fate want to do? Well, Dallas are playing a comp that wants to go faster aggressive. Because if they spend too long, Izayaki is just going to destroy them. Like Zen does a lot of damage over long fights. So they want to end the fight. And how do they want to end the fight? Well, they just want to like run through cage and go onto Shanghai's backline and burst someone down. Meanwhile, how does Fate want to prevent that? Well, Fate's job in this comp is more to hold space for his team. If his team like allows Dallas to just walk in to the back line, well, Izayaki has no time to like do anything. And Shanghai will have to kite and give up a lot of space potentially. So Fate wants to play in a way where like he can punish Dallas if they ever just run it through cage. But in this clip, he doesn't really do that all that well. It could be that he didn't anticipate the comp, but nonetheless, look at where Fate positions. Fate's positioning here. But like, look at all the space around him. Do Dallas really care all that much that he's controlling the space? Not really. They want to run it down. And you see, Dallas's core are already like so far ahead of where Fate's positioned that Fate now has to awkwardly reposition. And this means he uses grapple, and for the next couple seconds, he can't really do anything. So as you can see, Fate's now kind of stuck main. And all Fate can really do is do damage to the tanks, really. He has no access to the backline, and in order to beat this comp as well, you need to be pressuring the backline as ball as much as possible. Otherwise, like you're just gonna be doing damage to the tanks, and the tanks don't care if they're taking a bit of chip damage. They're tanks, and they have Moira as well. So right here, you see, Shanghai have no choice but to give up space. See, if they walk in, Fate is not in a position to put pressure on the Dallas's backline, so Dallas can just walk in without any consequence. And it's a bit hard to see from the spectating. But like even though eventually Fate is able to put some pressure onto the backline, by that time, Shanghai already forced into a closed off area of the map. And even worse, Fate gets hacked and eventually dies. And the only reason Shanghai even win this fight was because first, Sparkle kind of fed, as you can see. Like Sparkle fed and Fearless was a bit sloppy in avoiding hack. You can see he just walks in without like any peel. And like no peel from Hanbin, and he has no grapple to escape. He isn't in cover. Easy hack. But like, let's see one simple adjustment that Fate made in the grand finals against a similar situation that allows his team to just win the fight outright, like in the first couple seconds. So let's take a look at the grand finals match. So as you can see, look at where Fate's positioning now. Atlanta are playing a similar comp that has the identical goal of just running through Shanghai's backline. But like they want to go this way again, right? Fate's position's over here now instead of over here. And look at the difference it makes. So they decided to run it down again, but from this position, he can do like so much more. And let's look at the first person POV to confirm. So from this position, he's able to, like, this is nice, like, tech, but he pile drives, he knocks some players up without exposing himself. Pretty clever. But in doing so, he does some damage to the backline. And from this high ground position, he can put pressure onto Kai, forcing out Blinks. He now puts pressure onto Iris, forcing out Fade. And because he's directly in the path of where Atlanta are going, he's able to easily punish this engage from Atlanta. As you can see, like his DPS does damage to Hawk. Hawk gets demeched. He's now immediately able to punish them. Like, Fate's now just in the right position, like the perfect position to take this fight. And because he doesn't need to like readjust his positioning, his team is able to fight this sooner, which means they do not have to give nearly enough space as before. And as you can see, Shanghai, they just get a couple kills and they win. Opposed to like the first example, where Shanghai were literally forced into this small ass room. Right here, just because of one simple adjustment. Shanghai, they're able to win the fight in the first like 5 or 10 seconds, and they're just able to like take the fight immediately. Let's take a look at like one more time from top down. Even though like Izayaki dies, like usually Zen dying in a ball comp is just like GG go next, but because of this like amazing positioning, like the backline is not able to provide support because Fate's distracting them and forcing out their cooldowns and doing damage to them. And Fate is able to just punish this. And because he's in the right position, his team is able to fight this like almost immediately instead of having to kite. So what is the main point here? The main point is two things. One, as ball, always consider where the enemy wants to go and position yourself to deny that. You are very hard to force out, and you are really good at just holding a section of the map and saying, if you walk in, you're gonna have a tough time. Like compared to like a tank like Winston, which is which even though is powerful and engages, is still like really easy to force out. Ball is really hard to force out. Use that ability like to your fullest extent. And second, like that this doesn't even apply to ball, like just ball. This applies to any hero. If you feel that like you're not having an impact or you lost the fight, it might not be how you're taking the fight overall. It might just be like these small things that have a big difference. So if you're reviewing your own VODs and you think that you could have played a fight better, it might not be something big. It might just be something small. And like this adjustment was made in the few days in between the playoff match between Shanghai and Dallas and the grand finals. Like, it might be that Shanghai's coaches looked at this VOD with Fate, or Fate looked at this VOD and saw maybe if we just positioned here, like over where I mentioned, positioned here instead of over here, this would make a big difference. like there was always room, even for the best players in the world, like one of the best teams of all time, to like refine their gameplay and make things a lot easier. But anyways, I hope this example, as well as the concept I covered, is helpful, and I hope you can roll the enemy with it.